Hi everyone, this is Iris. Welcome back to my channel. We're well underway into the spring split all over the world, and as we near our first international tournament in 2022, I'd like to hear what the casters from other regions think about the LPL so far, as well as how the competition is shaping up in their own regions. Who are the players or teams to watch out for, and do they have any predictions for playoffs or even MSI? Let's start! Hi, how have you been, and how has the LCS been for you so far?
It's been really fun. This is probably the most fun the LCS has been in a very long time. There are a lot of diversity in the compositions and teams, a lot of new faces to watch play. So there's a lot happening right now. So it's been really enjoyable for me.
Well, since you just mentioned a very interesting split, so could you give me a quick recap on the first half of the LCS split? Who are the dominant teams? Which players stand out? Are there any dark horses?
The dominant teams, I would say the two that comes to mind there right now would be Team Liquid. Not a lot of people are surprised about that. Bwipo, Bjergsen, Santorin, and Hansama, and then Core JJ just came back because he was just able to get his green card. So that was
Yes.
like a big thing for that team. And they have been dominating without him with a rookie support from Academy. So that's already a big thing. And then I would say the other team that has been dominating a little bit has been Cloud9. So Cloud9 with the Korean lineup, Summit, who's been on the team, Berserker, who's been on the team, Fudge role swapping to mid lane. Like there's so many new rosters in the LCS so far. And then the surprising teams, the dark horse, is actually FlyQuest. Not a lot of people expected at all that this team. In fact, I had them as like probably second to last place from like going into the season. And right now they're tied for first place, 5-1 with Team Liquid. Tukui, the French mid laner, has been doing really well. And also, they're just like a very cohesive unit. They always fight together. It never feels like they're on different pages. And then they're creative. They're the team that went smite Janna top lane and they're roaming around the map. So, like, they're a team that I think is quite smart.
So, which champions are the flavor of this patch as well?
Ooh, so even with the nerf, Corki has still been a really strong champion. But in the beginning of the split, a lot of teams decided because of how the top lane has been, the top lane changes with TP being much weaker in the first 8 minutes of the game. We've been seeing a lot of teams just say, okay, I'll go smite, flash Janna top lane, and our top laner will just like roam and try and dive the enemy bot lane. TSM as a team has decided to go Lulu, and like a lot of teams have gone Karma for top lane. So that's like pretty much the most dominant thing. It's going to be patched out, so I know that's going to change. But that has probably been the most dominant picks in the top lane. One that has like risen up in the LCS and nowhere else has been Ivern mid lane.
Ivern mid lane.
Yes. So Cloud9 was the team that did it when they had LS as their coach. And they played Ivern mid. It hasn't been played much since then, but in Academy, there's been Ivern mid. In Champions Queue and Solo Queue, a lot of Ivern mid has come up. So it's a pick that has been a little bit of a flavor. It's just Enchanter mid laners.
What are your thoughts and feelings when you watch the LPL games this season? Are there any changes compared to the past seasons?
I would say for me, it's the swapping of great players around teams, like being able to see the Shy on Weibo Gaming playing with SOFM and Angel, like things like that. I would never have expected. Equally enough, if you look towards Victory 5, seeing Rookie play
Rookie
with
and
like
Karsa.
Karsa and Rich, like and PP got like there are so many names that I actually never thought would play alongside each other. That for me has been one of the more exciting things. Of course, I didn't even mention LNG, Tarzan and Doomb. That has been really fun to see because in the
Yeah, same
previous
for
splits,
us.
there we go. See,
Yeah.
previous years, it's like, oh, I would never expect that. Oh, I would expect IG to stay together and all these things, but we've actually now seen a lot of like creativity and new things so far with a lot of new teams and new players. So there are like different faces. And one of the biggest changes, sadly, for Team WE fans has been that they have gotten worse.
Oh,
So we haven't gotten to see like Beishang and all that perform at a high level.
yeah.
But the things that have stayed the same is EDG's dominance, clap, clap. So, from world champions to continuing to dominate in the LPL. So like, much like every split and every year, there are some things that remain the same and some things that are different.
Up to this point, which game has been the most impressive for you, or which player's mechanics has amazed you the most?
I didn't expect it to happen, BLG versus IG, seeing Uzi come back has just been the one that's been my favorite. Even though they ended up losing the series, that's fine. Uzi felt like he was performing at a really high level. CSing numbers were still really, really strong. And then his team fighting was still really good to watch. So I
Yeah.
look forward to seeing more games in the future. The sad thing for me is the fact that everybody said the same thing coming into the season, is that we won't get to see Doggo and Uzi play. They're like, it's either one or the other.
Yeah.
So like, so I hope that in the future they get to play against each other and that they're on different teams, because it's sad not being able to see, two great players play. I was
What
like,
was
what?
your
I did
first
not see
reaction
that one
after
coming.
seeing it?
I was really shocked because, watching RNG for so long, Uzi would come back like after Chinese New Year's or much later on in the splits, right? But like him coming in so early, I was like, wow, I did not see this one coming. I would just tell my friends, he's not going to be playing now. He's going to come much later on, closer to playoffs, not the case. So very shocked. And I would say I was pleasantly surprised.
Now we're around the middle of the split. I would say past the middle of the split after over 70 matches. Has any team surprised you with their very excellent performance, or perhaps fallen short of your expectations?
Ooh, I would say the team that I was pleasantly surprised with would be OMG.
Mm.
OMG as a team, like there are a few names that come to mind, like Shanji. I've seen Shanji a little bit when he was in the LDL. I think he was like on Team Pinnacle, LEG as well, like something like that. And I've seen a little bit of his game, but I was really surprised with his performance on stage, because at first I was like, oh, he's performing well in LDL, but versus the best top laners in the league in the LPL, that wouldn't be the case. But
Yeah.
he's actually been one of the best performers for me watching him play. And OMG as a team has played really well around him and Cream. So I think they're a team to kind of be excited about so far.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of negatively, I already said it a little earlier on. I was hoping the best for Team WE.
Mm.
They just haven't been able to perform so far, which is sad.
Would you like to share your thoughts on the 17 teams in the LPL, perhaps encapsulated within a word or a phrase, or just the teams that impressed you?
Ooh, so the teams that impressed me so far in the LPL.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I mean, some of the easiest ones is always the stronger mid laners in this league. So LNG and Victory 5. It's nice to see Victory 5's performing, especially after, the previous really poor splits, and then building around PP God, having Rookie. I always feel for Rookie, because it's like, oh, he deserves to go to Worlds. Like he's one of our best mid laners, and the fact that he hasn't been on a competitive team and stuff like that like hurts. But for me, it's like this team lives and dies and can play through mid, that they should be proud about how they, essentially have such a strong player through mid lanes. RNG, man, this is where you have to be excited. Shahu is back mid lane. You
That's
have been top lane.
it.
Like, that's what we're waiting for. I know that Shahu is playing so well as a top laner,
Yeah.
but then growing, up in the LPL and knowing how good he was as a mid laner, I just needed to see him play mid again, and he's been dominating. He might be an MVP of the split. So that's it. That's beautiful to see
He was a
RNG get
genius
better.
mid laner as well.
Yes, yes. And then Ben is just talented. So put him on that island top lane. Let him do what he wants. If he wants to play Jax in a counter matchup, he'll play it and he'll do well. So I think RNG is a team that is, even though they're not tied for first place, they will come for first place. Resurgence for RNG. For Victory 5, it's like the Phoenix, because even though everyone thinks Fun Plus Phoenix, but I would say a team that was once the Ashes and then is now rising up. Feel like that's Victory 5. OMG, I'll say nostalgia, because I will always remember OMG for their peak
Oh,
days
yeah.
in 2013. So I think they're finally getting stronger and building around that talent. Rare Atom, I would say aggressive. I
Mm.
would say that. You have iBoy on that team. And I'm trying to remember who else that I was really. I've always been a fan of Cube, so I know that it's been a little shaky there, but he's a young, very young player that is only getting better. So that's what I love to see, and that what challenges teams a lot. And I think they might make playoffs. And FPX, recognition for
Oh,
FPX,
why
because
is that?
LWX is getting that recognition with Hong as like one of the best bottom lanes in this league. I think it's nice to be able to let him kind of show the league and the world how strong he is individually. FPX, I think, I think they're struggling to get into playoffs. It's like they're doing okay, but I know that they will only get better around FPX's bot lane. Like Hong, I think, is a player that is only showing how strong he is as a support and how aggressive he is. Like sometimes he'll fail, looking for a play, but a lot of the times I think it just makes it so this team is fun to watch and they're good. Most of the time, they're good ideas. Those are the few teams that I would outline.
Due to the tight match schedule, a team's flexibility and adaptability is worth a lot during the split. Which team do you think is the most experienced one on this front, and which team has been the most consistent one throughout the whole split? Well,
I'd say the
we're
team
only
that's
the half of the split.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd say the team that's definitely the most experienced and can handle this road is probably RNG. Just because Ming, Gala a little bit. He's been around in the LPL for some time now. But for sure, Ming and Xiaohu, like, absolutely are players that are like generals. And the fact most of the time you only have one general on a team, they have two. And so if things are going rocky in a best of three, or if it's just like game after game after game, it's like endless, they are experienced in that venture. Consistent. I'm gonna go with the boring answer and say EDG. If you already
Knew
have a working,
it.
yeah, if you already have a working strategy, don't change it. And that's what they've done. They're a team that just simply has not changed it. So it's just nice to see that.
Is there any rookie player that has impressed you a lot, even though we talked a little bit before, or
Mhm.
still a veteran player who is putting in work?
I'll say two for rookies, just because one has been to Worlds before. So Doggo is
Mm-hmm.
someone that I mentioned and I think is incredibly talented. I know that by the end of the year or split, depending on if Uzi is playing consistently, all of these teams in the LPL will be trying to find, especially the ones that are struggling to get into playoffs, will try to get him. It, like, no doubt in my mind in how good of a player he is. And Sanji, I think, another shout out to him, because it is hard for a player coming in from the LDL to look special, look great, especially as a top laner. A good example of that being done before would be Zoom, actually. Zoom is probably one of the best players in the top lane that has done that in the past. And I think that Shanji will show that if he hasn't already shown a little bit of that. So those are two of the players. For experienced players, I'm just going to go say Mako. And at the end of the day, he's been there throughout the years. And
Yeah.
it's the player that's been there, I would say, close to the very beginning with EDG and has stayed loyal to that organization and is still playing at a world's best level. It's something you have to respect.
What's your prediction for the teams that would make playoffs?
Ooh. So
We
I
only have
think
1 month left to close
yes,
up our regular season, so it's time.
this is gonna be tough. So I
Yeah.
do think that FPX is strong enough that they'll be able to make playoffs, even
Mm-hmm.
if it's just but like slim. I think the current BLG, Top Esports, RNG, Victory 5, LNG, Weibo, EDG, like those are teams that I think are just way too good, and nothing really pushed them from that level. I'm gonna say JDG. I'm gonna say
JDG.
JDG. Did I already say JDG before? Because I'll say them because this Kanavi, I'm always a fan of how Kanavi plays the game. So I think that they're good enough to play around him in 369. So they'll make it. I think the one team that I'm looking forward to is Rare Atom. I think they'll miss playoffs, but I
Mm.
do think that they're a really talented team, just not a coordinated team and not a patient team.
If you were to choose,
Mhm.
what's your opera first team?
Okay, this is gonna be hard. I think
Yeah.
for sure. I'll say the easy ones first, so it'll be out of order. For
Mm-hmm.
jungle, I'll say Tarzan. For mid lane, I'll say Shahu. For AD carry, I'll say Viper. For support, ooh, I'm gonna say Ming. I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
Ming support. Top lane's hard for me. Ooh, let me think this one through. I'm leaning towards Bin.
Ben.
Like, I think right now I'll probably say Bin, but there are a lot of good top laners in this league. Ala, I think, is really good. Flandra, I think, is great too, but I'll go for Bin right now. I think he's a really creative player. I think he has a larger champion pool when you want him to be aggressive and just play his lane. But I know there's going to be a lot of people that have a different opinion about top lane.
Lastly, it might be a little bit early to talk about this, so hopefully we're not jinxing it. Which
Okay.
team do you think will be the LPL representative at this MSI?
Oh, for the MSI represent EDG. They're the defending world champions. I think that they're going to get another chance and become that MSI champion, much
You don't
like they
even
were
hesitate.
2015. Exactly. No hesitation there. So
Ooh.
it's going to be them. They're only getting stronger and stronger. I think the one person that I've been appreciating a lot more has been Jieche, because I
He's
remember when he
scoring a
first
lot.
came in, exactly. Very beginning, he was great mechanically with his Lee Sin, but then can make some weird decisions. But he's been smarter and smarter as a jungler. So it's nice to see that, see him level up.
Okay, so below are the fan queues. Which LPL team do you want to see the LCS champion or LCS representatives face off against the most at Worlds? Worlds.
Ooh, I think Team Liquid being so dominant right now with Core JJ, Bjergsen back, and all of this, I actually want to see them go up against who? So I'll say two LPL teams. EDG,
Okay.
because I think right now EDG is the best, but then
Mhm.
I'll say RNG just because I want to see Xiaohu versus Bjergsen. I want to see two of like the great mid laners in the league historically and everything go up against each other. I think that makes for a really fun game.
Yeah, we all
So
know that you're a big fan of Xiaohu right now. No matter his
that's
top,
true.
his main.
Yep. I'm gonna follow him no matter what, wherever he goes. 80 carry support Shahu, of course, I'm there too.
All
Um,
Xiaohu team. There's no more all pro,
on
all
all
first what?
exactly
No. All
all
Xiaohu
third
team.
team, yes, third team, all Shahu.
And second one, now we've discussed the LPL teams for a while. We want to know the players to watch out for in the LCS as well, who has been a standout
Okay,
player for the split.
all right, I like this. So, for North America, some of the better players, an 80 carry to watch. There's 380 carries. I'll say 380 carries. FBI is still one of the best. He was a LCS champion last year.
Mhm.
And this year he already has a player of the week, so he's been performing really well. Hansama coming in from Europe in the
Yeah.
LEC, and then Berserker from T1 actually is performing incredibly well on Cloud9. He's really fun to watch too. He's super aggressive. So those are like 380 carries I think are really fun. Tukui, the French LFL mid laner, actually just got player of the week. Him and Aframu are some of the big reasons why FlyQuest are tied for first place right now. That is a big surprise for all of us. And I'd say Danny. Danny is like, not a lot of people know him internationally because he's doing well. He just kind of started last year, with Evil Geniuses, but he's getting pentakill after pentakill. This year, I think he got like 2 pentakills already. He's a really confident 80 carry, and I hope the world gets to see him on the international stage soon.
Thank you so much. I think that we already finished all the topics that I listed in the script. Do you have anything that you want to add by the end of this interview?
Hmm. I think one thing for fans right now who are watching the LPL, it's a good time to watch just like global leagues. For me, what I try and do is I try and watch all the best teams around the world whenever I can. That does mean sometimes I'll miss some of the struggling teams in the LPL, LCK. But now that you have so many teams that I think are just creative, that I feel like I learned so much more about the game in like the LCS and LEC and LCK, including the LPL. So being able to watch the best teams around the world has really helped me. Definitely makes it easier when international events happen. Be like, oh, these teams, it's going to be fun to watch them because they clash in the way that they see the game be played. I hope we're getting closer and closer in the LCS to have fans in the arena. For me, this is a message to people around the world that we're there in the times, in the arenas, in the studios, we're cheering on the players. I remember in the LPL when the fans would come up, like they would bring out some fans onto the stage and give gifts to the players and all these
Yeah.
things. Those were real memorable moments. And I know we're closer and closer to coming back to that. And that's something that the players, some of the new players, don't even remember that we're not there when fans existed in the arenas
Yeah.
and we're cheering on these big games. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and just enjoy the game, enjoy the players, cheer them on, and know that soon enough you can be cheering them on close enough, right in the same studio. We're getting closer and closer to it.
Yeah.
Finals for LCS and stuff is supposed to be in front of fans. We'll see if that happens with COVID, but I'm waiting for it. I'm here for
Yeah.
it.
Stay healthy.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Res. Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you. It's the time is so late. You're there. Sorry.
Oh no, it's on me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, of course. I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thanks again to Raz for joining us for this discussion. It was great to hear his perspective coming from the LCS. Remember, these are his individual opinions as a caster and analyst, so please be respectful. Polite discussion is definitely welcome. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. I'll see you in the next video with caster Bito from the LCK.